Okay, today we're going to do a demonstration of the Quickmount curved tile mount, also known as Spanish tile. Here we're on a mock roof, our sample roof. Everything is roofed to the standards with battens, felt paper, the curved tiles, and here we have the tools laid out. There's a couple extra things here, but it's always good to have extra nails, staples, felt paper, a roll of felt paper, and all your screw guns, a diamond cutter for cutting your tiles. And here we're doing this on a sample roof, so we're not actually on top of a roof. So if we were on a roof, of course we'd have straps and harnesses per OSHA standards. If you're above 6 feet, you want to be harnessed in. Okay, so after you selected your tile of which tile you want to remove, you want to prop up the tile up and to the right and one to the bottom, just so you can pull off the tile off the batten and easily pull it out. So now that we got these two tiles propped up, we can pull this tile out. If you run into any nails, sometimes these tiles are nailed down. You can pull a flat bar and pull the nail out and proceed to take out your tile. So now one of the most important things to do is to clean this felt paper and then the next thing you want to do is find your rafter so that you can make your penetration into the rafter. Here we can use a stud finder. Here we go across and we found our rafter here. There's a number of different ways to find the rafters. You can get into the attic, measure across. Every roof is different and unique, and there's a number of different ways. You can look under the bays as well. But here, since we're working directly onto the ply, we can use a stud finder and usually find our rafters. So once you mark your rafter, you want to get a straight edge and mark from the bottom of the tiles and measure 6 5/8. 6 5/8. So now that you got your marks and your measurements, you want to make a cross section to line up with your plate. Here we can just use the plate as the straight edge. And there you have your cross section to line up. And on this plate we have the 6 5/8 lines on each side, so you can line up, and you line it up with your holes for your lag bolts. So once you have your plate where you want it, you take your drill bit to mark your pilot hole. So we have our marks here now going into the rafter, and you can go ahead and drill a small pilot hole. Here we're using a 1/4 inch bit so that we don't split the wood and we guide the hanger bolt into the rafter. Now we've got our pilot holes made, and you want to make sure you put the correct sealant, the appropriate sealant that is recommended by the roofing manufacturer. And here you want to fill the pilot holes with sealant. Then you want to put your base plate attachment bolt into place, and then we can go ahead and line up our plate once again, and then we can go and put in our hanger bolt. We're using a 1/2 inch deep socket impact gun to drive in our 5/16 by 3 inch lag bolts into the rafters. Now that we've got our plate in place, we want to again keep this felt paper nice and clean. Put down our peel and stick flashing. Now this is the flashing that all these tile roofs are waterproofed in the felt paper underneath the tiles. So we're reinforcing the waterproofing of this felt paper. So what we need to do is use this peel and stick, which come with in every package. There's one per mount. So now we're going to stick this peel and stick to waterproof our base plate. Now this stuff is pretty sticky, so you want to be careful when you're putting this in. And the best way to do this is start with the thread. Push down on the thread. This has a split already in it, and once you push down on that thread, you kind of lay this peel and stick down around and start at the base plate but once you get underneath and put down this peel and stick, you'll be nice and waterproof tight. Now, if you can, sometimes we'll run into the overlap of the felt paper here, and if that happens to be the case, and you have the next course of felt paper in this line, you want to get that peel and stick underneath that next course of felt paper. In this case, we don't have that option, so what we're going to do here is maybe take out one tile or lift a tile, and we will unscrew this one screw into the batten, and we'll put another piece of felt paper to reach underneath to that next course of felt paper. So now we're going to get this next tile out so that we can get to our screw in the batten and continue waterproofing the felt paper. So here's the next course of felt paper, and we just need to take this screw out. Once we get this roofing bar, this flat bar underneath the batten, just make a little wedge, and you need a piece of felt paper that is 14 inches wide to go across this peel and stick, and whatever size you need to get 2 inches underneath this next course of felt. So here we can cut this one down a little bit, but as long as it is 14 inches wide to get across this peel and stick. So now that we got our size underneath that next course of felt, it's under there and it's over our peel and stick. We put our screw back. If you want to get this felt paper to stay nice and flush down to the roof, you can use your staple gun and then we're good to go. To get our standoff coming out of the tiles, the best thing to do is to cut your tile. So we're just gonna eyeball it here and line it up with where our standoff will be coming out. Should be right about here. And you could just put it next to the next one here and about here. So we want to be cutting a square out of this tile so that we get our standoff post to come out, and then we can put our flashing in. Okay, so here we're going to demonstrate how to cut a tile. A lot of solar installers don't like doing tile jobs or pass tile jobs up, but here we're going to show cutting tiles, and working with the existing roof is not as hard as it seems, and we're going to cut the tile. You always want to use safety goggles and do the cutting off the roof. So here Stuart's going to show you how to cut a tile. So here we're going to show you how easy it is to mold your flashing to your tiles and put it in place. So what you do is you line it up with your ridge, and this is a dead soft aluminum, so you just bend it like so, make creases, and the same thing with the top half. You're just kind of molding it so you have a good bend, and then you have your curved tile shape, and then you can put that in once you're on the roof. So now we have our cut tile, and we're just going to put this back in place and put in our flashing and our standoff and finish the installation. We already have our bars propping up these tiles, so we just slip in the tile back into place, and then we take our flashing, which we molded to this tile earlier, and we line it up with our post, and we put our post onto that thread. You want to take your channel locks and tighten down your post. So here, after we put in our post, we want to seal the post and flashing connection. So now we've got our post in, our flashings in, everything's tightened down. We've sealed with the proper sealant the aluminum connection here, with the flashing and post, and we're using a secondary waterproofing with the EPDM gasket over the post. And now you're done. Your mount is in, and you can attach any rack that you choose.